So, Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 8, No One. This is 100% spoilers. I'm going to talk about it in full. This episode was a weird one. I've said before that I'm okay with the table setting episodes. They've had they've had four by my count this season, which only really pays off if you're going to have something really bombastic happen every third episode or so. And so far they've been delivering on this. This episode was kind of in between. There's a lot of hate for this episode. A lot of people were like, "No, this was dumb. They didn't deliver." I, screamed a lot watching it. I was very excited watching it. There were a lot of stuff that made me cry out loud in happiness, and then a lot of things that were just, "Oh, okay, that happened." So I'm gonna jump right in here. First of all, the Hound don't fuck around. I wanted to make that. I want to make that the hashtag of the week, but it's too spoilerific, so I couldn't. I just, God damn it, man! He just walks up, beheads a guy, guts a guy, disembowels a guy. He's like, "You die really shit." He's just, "You're shit at dying." It's like, fuck. Is that your last word? Come on, you can do better than that. I'm like, I love that. That's awesome. That's an action movie star motif right there. He's just like, tell me where they are. You're shit at dying. I'm like, awesome, awesome, brilliant. And then he tracks down the Brotherhood without banners, still being led by Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr, which is odd, because it seems like they were setting up something else. I'm not going to say what it is. You can Google what it is, okay? I'm not doing that as much as I want to. As much as I'm spoiling things in this, I'm not spoiling all things in this. It felt like they were setting up something else, and then they immediately swerved and didn't do that. So that's weird. It's good to see them about. It's good to see that they aren't just they haven't forgotten about those characters or that plot. They're still knocking about. They're still, yeah. They seem to have a change in purpose. I mean, I'm glad to see that it wasn't the Brotherhood without banners. In full assaulting and overthrowing those guys. They were just like, "No, these guys went rogue. We're gonna hang them now. You can kill two of them, but you have to kill them our way, bloodlessly, and you can have his boots, I guess." And then they're like, "Do you want to come north with us? We're gonna go fight the White Walkers. The cold winds are rising north. Come on with us, Sandor." And that's interesting. Everybody except for the Lannisters and Daenerys is going north. That's interesting. Don't know what to make of that. No, I mean, we don't get any of the North storyline in this episode. We haven't seen Ramsay Bolton in weeks. There's no Jon Snow and Sansa. We see, I'm going to talk about Riverrun. I'm going to talk about that in full. That whole sequence for the past 2 or 3 episodes, that's been fun, man. It's been good to see a nice old-fashioned siege with a moat in the castle and stuff. I've seen the Blackfish just go, no, 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 my castle, no. And we get to see two sides of Jaime. Not in like a duplicitous way, but just like which side's the real Jaime. We get to see his better half when he's speaking to Brienne. He's like, "This is your sword. It's always been your sword. You fulfilled your promise. You're good at this, And it's obviously they care very deeply about each other in ways maybe they don't understand. I like that. I think it goes beyond simple desire or love. It's something else. And I really that's a fantastic relationship. But then he's so slavishly devoted to his sister, that he's like, all I care about in this world is Cersei, and if I have to kill every single Tully to get back to her, I'm going to. This is the other option. What I can do is I can catapult your wife and child into the battlements, and then I'll take it by force, unless you give it to me. And that, it's such a that scene was great. Nikolai Coster-Waldau, I think, is his name. If I'm butchering that pronunciation, I'm sorry. And he's great. That's a fantastic interrogation. It's not even an interrogation scene. He's just like, "This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, you're my prisoner. I'm gonna talk. I knew your sister. I liked your sister. I was her prisoner for a while. Okay, let's talk about our sisters. I need that castle. Okay, this is not a negotiation. This is what's gonna happen." And even when it comes down to it, you still kind of think, it's like, is he gonna turn on him? Is he gonna just say fire? He's walking up there on the battlements. There's that awesome Mexican standoff where, with the Blackfish and like the commander at the gate, he's like, "He's the lord of the castle. We've got to let her in, my lord." He's like, "He's under duress. He's got a knife at his throat. That's not a real order. That doesn't count." and the Blackfish is going. He's going mad. He's going to kill the guy. He's like, no, this is my cut. You don't. You know, it's just because I think he's got a bit of guilt and resentment because he ran at the Red Wedding, and he's not giving this up. He's not giving up this castle. He's going to die here. He'll happily go to his grave there. And lo and behold, in what I really liked as delivery, Jamie standing on the battlements and a Lannister soldier comes up. We got the Blackfish. Good, bring him to me. He died in battle. And it's a real sort of. Oh, it's kind of stunning. Firstly, because of I loved that scene where we deliver it. You're like, oh shit, but also he died off screen. You know, why did he have to die off screen? It was good that he's like, I haven't had a real sword fight in years. I hope I don't make a fool of myself. Just as he helps Brienne and Podrick escape, and they escape, and Jimmy sees them escape, and he waves, and they wave, and that's the end of that. He's not going to tell them, but it's just so odd. There are parts of this episode that seem to be dragging out, and parts of this episode that felt they couldn't do because budget. You know, like, let's go to Marine. Okay, we see Varys leaving Marine to go off on a secret mission to get boats. Good, I guess. Tyrion's gotten the short shrift this season, definitely. So they gave him a scene where he's trying to teach them about jokes. But they know about jokes, but they aren't very good jokes, and it just goes on forever. And I mean, I chuckled a little bit, but why couldn't we have seen the Blackfish's like last stand in this scene instead of that scene? Why couldn't we have seen something else? We get and then it cuts outside, and the Wise Master is back, and then we see another excellent swooping CGI shot of all these ships and trebuchets firing on the city, and then it cuts up to the pyramid, and there's a thump on the roof, and everyone's like, "What the hell was that?" And Daenerys walks through the door and stares at them, and I'm like, "Oh shit, she's back!" And then nothing happens. Then we cut, and we're gonna have to wait 2 weeks to see what happens with that. And we see Drogon just flying off in the distance. That's cool. Why is that happening? Why isn't Drogon and possibly the other dragons just swooping in and torching those ships? Why aren't we just doing that instead of, you know, why didn't we just have that instead of the big swooping CGI shot of everyone firing on this? Why? I liked this episode, but there are some parts of it that confused me quite a bit. Oh my god, the King's Landing stuff. So first of all, we get to see that I Choose Violence scene promised in the trailer many moons ago. That was awesome. You know, so we get to see Mountainstein rip off one of the sparrows' heads, just like right in front of them. We get to see the blood draining down. They all back away. That show of force and brutality comes back to bite Cersei in the ass, because there's a royal announcement by Tommen who says, "I'm outlawing trial by combat. It's brutal. It's brutish. It's too violent. It's savage. We're not having it anymore." And Cersei's like, and her look of shock and helplessness is beautiful, because it's like, you've killed me. You've killed me. And he won't even look at her. He won't even deign to look at her in her direction. The High Sparrows just got into him so much. And he's so nefarious, that guy. Jonathan Pryce is great. Even when he's not in the episode, his presence is always felt. He's such a major player right now. In effect, he's a villain. But he's brought low the other villains. So it's the beauty of Thrones. It's astonishing for everybody wanting the Clegane Bowl, as impractical as that was story-wise. Now it's just it looks like it's completely off the table. So sorry, guys. Although we get a little. Are those rumors true, or are they more than rumors? Oh, they're much more than rumors. What are you talking about? What is that? Where did that come from? What rumors? He's the Master of Whispers. He knows something now. What does he know now? We'll find out, I guess. Is it relating to the High Sparrow? Is it an ace in Cersei's hole, as it were? Interesting, man. It's an interesting episode. You know, there's a lot of, there's something that, like, there are scenes where they just scrap all fan theories. Like, no, we're not doing that. Or there's scenes where they just go, you know, we're gonna spend some time on this, and just we didn't have the time or the budget for this. Oh, but why didn't you do that instead? that it's odd. Remember at the start of the episode, at the start of the season, when those three ladies took over Doran and usurped the throne, and we haven't seen or heard from them again. You know, is that what's going on with that? You know, and the Sam storyline. It would be nice to check in on that every once in a while. But beyond that, yeah, it's a weird episode. Everyone's like, it was Tyrion's fault. It wasn't Tyrion's fault. Who cares? I'm gonna wrap up now with the Arya storyline. This was great. And first of all, I love how this episode was shot. There's a lot of people in the background coming in, but they're keeping the concentration, the focus on the foreground. So whenever at the very start we see the Hound padding along behind this guy, and then he decapitates him. This scene with the waif and Lady Jane, who gets sort of folded over a fucking chair, is that whole sequence I loved. It was great. It was very bored. She's leaping over buildings. She jumps out of windows, jumps downstairs, rolls downstairs. Her stitches have come open again. I loved it as a chase. The waif is going full Robert Patrick, just unstaring, running like this. Just I loved it. I loved it. She's relentless. She's brutal. She's committed to a cause. It goes beyond herself. I loved that. The bit where Arya's sort of wandering the market, and we see the waif just in the background sprinting on top of a wall before she jumps down behind her. It's so sinister, and it sets it up perfectly. Fantastic. And then we see Arya escape, but leave little clues and directions with the blood on her hands, on the walls, to that little cell where she always wanted to have that confrontation with the waif. And yeah, and then it cuts to black. And then she takes up needle, turns the lights off, and then and then next we see a face in the faceless hall, and it's the waif's face. And Arya, rather than go like, that's the debt settled, that's the face that's the face for the Hall of Faces, we're done. She's like, you sent her to kill me. I did. I knew that, and now you are no one. It's like, no, I'm not no one. I'm Arya Stark. I'm going home. And that's supposed to be a real sort of fist pumping moment. It's not. We wanted her to be going home for a while now. I wanted something to come of this. I wanted her to be a really cool assassin for a while and kill bad guys. Instead, she killed a bad guy she wasn't supposed to. She has gotten an innocent person killed instead. Well, I say innocent. It turns out she's been stabbing people quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know. This, instead of getting her ass kicked and mopping some floors for a while, it would have been nice if she took a step further with that. It's nice that she's going home. It's nice that she's getting back in the game of Thrones, but it feels almost like a little too late. And as much as I loved that sequence, I just didn't like how it panned out. I didn't like how it finished. It's frustrating to me. But I don't know, man. This was an odd episode of Thrones. There was a lot to like, but there were a lot of odd decisions in it. Next week we don't have to worry about it though. Next week is the Bastard Bowl. It's the Battle of the Bastards. It's the battle for Winterfell. Wildlings and some Northmen versus Boltons and some other Northmen, with a giant and a direwolf and Sir Davos Seaworth thrown in there for good measure. Let's fucking do it. The trailer for it, the little promo they did, looks amazing. I'm on board. I'm more excited for this than I am for many films. Yes, I'm on board for that. So let's see how that pans out. So those are my thoughts on this episode. If you like that vid, please click like, subscribe, view, share, and all the usual jazz. And I'll see you later on.